Hey there people, welcome to my channel. My name is Tina. Today I'm going to share with you how I create a seamlessly repeated surface pattern in Illustrator. And all the elements you see here on the screen have been created using brushes. There is nothing that I have scanned or hand-drawn or created in any other way. I've used only brushes. You can use the brushes built in to Illustrator, or you can buy brushes, or you can create them yourself. I have made all of these myself. It's not difficult if you want to learn how to do it. There are plenty of tutorials available on YouTube. I think that's it. Let's jump right in. As I said, I will be working in Illustrator. I am now sharing my screen with you. I'm going to work mostly with brushes in this design, almost exclusively. Brushes is a window in Illustrator where you can choose to open this menu. I have selected my design that I've already made and I'm now showing it in several different brushes. All of them I have made myself. They are not very advanced. Oh, this is one I bought. This is one that came with the program. Quite a fun looking thing. But I'm going back to my brush that I have made. If you want to learn how to make your own brushes, there are tutorials available on YouTube. So I've picked this one now, and I can also change the weight of the lines. Make them thicker, which can make the design look strange or fun and interesting. Basically, you never know until you try. The next step for me here is to start making the repeat of this little flower blob. And to start with this process, I have zoomed out a little. On the top of the screen, you can read the word larghezza, and to the left, you can't see it. It says altezza. Altezza. My Italian is not that good. The reason it's in Italian is that I usually work with an Italian printing company, and this is to help them. They don't speak English at all. I am changing it now to the English words width and height. And this is important to know when you make a repeated pattern. But you may ask, these measurements, what are they of? And the answer is the artboard that I'm working with. And the size of the artboard is something that I decide on before I start working. Here it is, as you saw, 25 centimeter wide and 40 centimeter high, and it is the size that you see outlined here in red. It is my workspace, and this is the lines that cut the report of the pattern. So this is the line that decides exactly how big piece of this pattern is going to be printed in the end. So these measurements are really important to remember. And this is how you use them. So remember, height 40, width 25. And I am selecting my little flower, whatever. And then I open the window, the dialog for move, using the shortcuts on the keyboard or quick command. And here is what it looks like. Top level, you can write in how much you want to move it horizontally. That is 25 centimeters. The next row, 0. And the next one, I'm not writing anything. I let the program choose for me. And at the bottom, I choose copy. So it is keeping the original flower in its original position and creating a copy exactly 25 centimeter to the right. If you want it to move to the left, you use a minus sign in front of 25. So now we have repeated this little flower horizontally. And then we need to do the same thing vertically. We do the same thing, open this little window by using the quick command. Now, in the first line, we write 0 because we're not moving it horizontally. Stepping down to the next one, there we write 40 centimeter. Next one, nothing. And at the bottom, we choose copy. Now we have copied both of these flowers because I selected both of them from the beginning. So all of these 4 flowers are now completely aligned with the repeat. That's how easy it is. But it doesn't look very good to have 1 flower in each corner. Let's add some more. So here I am opening up or turning on visibility on a few of the other layers. I am experimenting little. Do I want more or less of the flowers? I also have quite a few layers of these sort of, you could call it dust. I usually call it dust, actually. It's a thin layer of small details that I have created from various sources that gives sort of a shimmer or a slight shift in color. As I'm opening and closing these, I am questioning the flowers that we just created. I select the whole layer with all 4 of them, but not any of the other layers, and I am moving them around. I'm also moving around the position of the layer, so the layer is above or under the other things. Here you can see I'm moving the flowers underneath the other flowers. However I move them, if I select all 4 of them, they stay in position for the repeat. So wherever I place them, they will still be repeated. As long they are placed across the black edge, the artboard, they are cut in half by the repeat, and that means there has to be 1 flower at the other end of the print, if that makes sense. This is difficult to describe. Now I am closing down most of the layers because I don't like the look of this black layer. It's uneven. They are not placed in an even pattern. I am trying to decide which one to move. I am deciding on this one here. No, as you can see, it's not repeated. Oh no, it's not repeated. You saw that on the top. There was 1 across the border at the bottom, but not 1 across the border in the top. So now I am copying it to there. So the repeat is fixed, but the pattern looks even more uneven. The black leaves or whatever are not spaced out evenly. So yeah, there's a little bit missing here, I think. So I am thinking, is it too much somewhere? Is there one I want to move? Trying this one. Yes, I need to repeat it because it's crossing the black border. So this is -25, of course, to move a copy to the other border, the other edge of the artboard. This looks better, more evenly spaced, but too much black up here. I am reducing this one in size. And when you do that with brushes, they also change shape a little bit. But in this case, I like it. Trying it in different positions, turning it around, trying to get things evenly spaced out. If you want it to be even, you don't always want that with a pattern, but in this case, I don't want it to be too uneven because the black is such a dominant color, such a dark color. Turning that layer off and having a look at the brown layer. This is also very uneven, but in this case, I like it. So I'm keeping it. The purple layer. Same thing here, I think. I'm going to keep it as it is. And finally, I'm adding back most of the layers and I'm trying to get an overview of what it looks like. It is sort of evenly spaced. I'm trying out layer after layer here and moving around a few things. Here I found something more that wasn't properly repeated. Usually you do this 1 layer at a time, systematically, from the bottom up or the other way around. You check everything, every element of the design that crosses the artboard border has to have the same element on the other side of the square that makes up the artboard. So you check the lines from bottom to top and see that everything comes in pairs. Everything that crosses the border is repeated at the other side of the artboard. Because trust me, when you have a print with many layers as this one, it is so easy to miss one of the layers, to not notice that one or sometimes many things aren't actually properly repeated. So to have this process to check the layers, turn off all the other layers and check the layers one by one from top to bottom is invaluable. And now I have been questioning some of the design choices I've made. Is the blue flowers at the corners really a good size? And the next question is, these lime colored or yellowish lime colored things, are they too dominant or do I need more of them? I'm trying around. I try to make them sort of, if I have two in the middle, I want to have at least one at the top or bottom to make a nice repeating pattern. I'm moving it around and I'm also now decided on a place and I'm copying it to the top, because it was crossing the border, barely crossing the border. Now I have 4 of them in the print and that seems that it's lighting up the background in a nice way, so I'm keeping them. I think I'm done, actually. I think I'm really happy with this pattern. I'm still thinking about it, but now I'm starting to clear up. I reduce the size and I unlock all the layers and I try to clean up the workspace. As soon as I mark here, you see I have pieces that cross the border of the artboard. That means I can't take them away. But up here, nothing crosses the border. Same to the left, not crossing the border. At the bottom, no, crossing the border, can't take it away. You can do this layer by layer, but here I am choosing to do them all in one go because it's not super important. There's nothing at the bottom that I can remove actually. So I am just settling for the ones to the right instead. This is good enough. You don't have to clean up the edges outside of the artboard. Not at all. Because the printed area would be what is inside the artboard. It never expands outside of that if you use Illustrator. I also find that I had repeated the size, the measurements. That's not necessary, so I remove that. Okay, I think we are done. Let's make a test now. Enlarging, doing a double check. Looks good. What I do as a test now is that I take a screenshot. That is, I arrange the borders of the screenshot to be exactly following the artboard. So I make a screenshot from the screen of exactly what is inside of the artboard. That screenshot is saved on my computer, and after that I am adding it into this Illustrator document. I create an empty layer and I place it on that layer. And in place, I also enlarge it to be the same size. I do this carefully to do it proportionally. Once I have a good copy, I copy that copy and move it to the right. There are commands that you can use in the computer to make sure that you get them placed on a perfectly vertical line. I repeat this until I have like 4, 5, 6 of them maybe. I choose all. I select all of them on that row and keep on repeating the whole row downwards until I have a good amount of, print, basically. And with all of that on screen, I reduce the size and I can immediately see that this is not a well-designed print at all. I see clearly lines of blue crossing the pattern. A well-designed print should never have these types of shapes that attract our eyes. Human eyes are very attracted to all kinds of patterns. Pattern recognition is a very human thing. And I don't want a stripy pattern, so this is bad. Do you see the lines of blue? I'm marking them here. I also see big spots of background, like big blue dots. They're not supposed to be there. And the black is also a problem. As you can see, all the black is sort of placed together in the same space, and there's a big row of print where there is no black at all, this is a big problem. So this is really back to the drawing board for me. So the first thing I'm doing is that I am taking this layer with this print that I made from the screenshot and just getting rid of it and starting over. I am enlarging. I could have kept that layer, if I wanted to look back at it, to have a, refresher in my memory of the problem. But I thought that I remembered pretty well, so I'm diving right in, enlarging and starting to move things around. Starting with the brown, because clearly there were too many placed together, and I'm moving them here and there. It is at this stage that it happens very easily that you forget that you place a print across the border. And then you have to go back and once again recheck that you actually did copy everything that crosses the border. Moving it back and forth. After this, I am moving back to the black layer, where there definitely was a problem. And all of this is just moving things back and forth on the workspace and trying to space them evenly and try to use your imagination to make sure that you don't get these kind of patterns that you don't want. I'm working on the black layer now because clearly, as I said, there was a problem. When I move something that is placed across the border of the artboard, I make sure to move both of them, the one on top and the one on the bottom at the same time. Here I am changing the size and I'm twisting it around, trying to fit it in sort of the space. And it crosses the border, so it needs a copy at the bottom. And now working on the big ones. This is very much back and forth all the time until you think you're happy, and then you can make a screenshot and try again. So I am repeating that process. I'm making a copy and I am placing that several copies beside each other in a row and then in several rows below each other. And as it's all coming together on the screen, you watch it from afar and you realize there is once again a pattern that you can see. But this time it's diagonals. I'm marking on the screen. You see the diagonal pattern. There's also one going crosswise to that. But diagonals are okay. They are usually quite flattering and pretty nice to see in a printed pattern. So this is definitely not a perfect print pattern in any way, but I find it okay. I'm happy with this. And now I'm going to try something very different. I am going to use an image that I created using AI of this beautiful lady here, and I am going to place the print I just made on top of her dress. And to make it look more lifelike, like if it possibly was her dress actually, I'm doing it like this. I am repeating this piece, the screenshot that I take, so it gets long enough, placing it on top of her. Then I created a very, very, very simple basic clipping mask from this layer here. I am cutting out this dress shape from the print. And by the way, this is in Photoshop. This is no longer Illustrator. And this cutout I am placing on top of the image of her. And then I am changing the qualities of this layer with the print to make it see-through. So it gives you an impression that she's actually wearing this print as a fabric in her dress. And here you see another lady. This is actually a professional mock-up. I bought this one and paid for it. One possibility here is to place the pattern as a pattern overlay. Then I need just one exact repeat and I put it in here. And in both versions, however I do it, I can then enlarge and make it bigger I mean, not the image, I mean the print. I can make it bigger or smaller to get a good idea of the scale. Because scale is really, really important when you're playing around with patterns. If you're sending it off to printing, it needs to be the perfect scale for whatever you're planning to make with it. You can also play around with placement to make sure that you don't get any unfortunate like boob flowers or something like that. I decide that this very large scale is looking really good on these ladies. But how large is this scale? Well, I am using these pink rectangles that I place on top of the image. I know that a human woman is, as opposed to non-human women, I know that most women are around 50 centimeters long from the shoulder to the waist. So one of these pink sticks is 50 centimeters long because I can place it on her to make it that length. And then I'm placing it on top of the print from one element in the print to where it appears the next time, where it is repeated. And I can use this to roughly measure that it is one pink rectangle long plus about 3/4 of a pink rectangle. That would make it 75 centimeters, which is indeed a very big size print. I am now trying it out on the second lady to see if it works on her too. I have a bit of a trouble adjusting the size to be as the other lady, but in the end I can see here on the screen that from one repeat to another it is about 1 3/4 of the pink sticks. So it is a good looking print in big size. So all right, what do you think about this print? Is it pretty? Is it ugly? What kind of garments would you put a print like this on? Would it be like, sweatpants, or would it be a party dress, beachwear? What do you think? Are the colors pretty? Because they are a bit odd. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you. And please leave a like if you like this video. Have a good day. Bye bye.